Hello and welcome once again. And today we'll be talking about how electronics impact teen mental health. So we're really talking about screen time. That's what we're really kind of addressing. And I don't know, but when statistics tell us that teenagers on average are spending 7 to 9 hours a day in front of a screen, I think that's something we need to talk about. So we will in this video. There's a lot of overlap in these videos because the questions might be a little different, but really the answers are the same. The same problem exists. So we're trying to give you a little bit different take on them. But first of all, why is screen time increasing levels of anxiety, depression? It is. We want to kind of understand why. Social comparison. What's causing all that? And what's that doing to teenage minds? And sleep and cognitive function and brain development and social emotional regulation. And then what do we do about it? We have to have a conversation about all those things. And that's what we'll be doing coming right up. When we talk about screen time, it is more than just our phones. All right. So that's 7 to 9 hours that on average teenagers in front of a screen is more than just phones. It's just the phones are a huge part of that. And research is showing that when teens are on social media, typically on their phone, for 3 hours a day or more, which far too many are, that dramatically increases the levels of anxiety and depression because social media is being designed for this dopamine feedback loop, right? The dopamine is released as you're kind of getting involved in the social media uh, addictive practices. It's probably the best way to describe it. And you get in that loop, and that is disruptive to your entire mental health development. One of the most insidious problems with social media in terms of teenagers and the screen time that comes from that, the technology that we have, is this idea of social comparison. And we're carrying these phones around all the time, and they are designed to kind of hook us in this way, right? So for teenage girls in particular, although it does impact boys as well, social comparison can really have a dramatically negative impact. The more you see somebody else who, in your mind, and as a teenager, this is not uncommon, you see as doing things better than you, more perfectly than you, your self esteem is taking a hit. And when you aren't feeling good about yourself, then you kind of begin to get depressed and feel down, and the negativity cycles downward. Too many teens will then try to kind of compensate for that feelings through drugs or alcohol or sexual promiscuity or eating challenges. All these things can result from that. Let me talk about Sarah. All right. So, Sarah fell into this trap. She started following a YouTube influencer, another teen. She had no idea that this teen was photoshopping her photos to make herself look that much better, to look that much more perfect, was amplifying her successes and all of these other things to make herself look better in order to get more followers. It was staged. She didn't buy into that stage. She was feeling like it was real. So the more she compared herself and looked at her, and then some of these followers who's following this person started kind of doing the same sort of thing. And the more she saw other people doing more and better things than her and looking better and having the perfect boyfriend and all this, and it began to cycle down. She began to suffer from depression, removing herself, impacted her academics, relationships, all of that because her self-esteem was taking a hit from this false comparison. One of the other issues with screen time, again, phones are a big issue, but laptops can be an issue too, is the light from the screens, particularly the phones. The blue light can disrupt the sleep chemicals in your brain so that it makes it more difficult to get to sleep. So the longer you're on it or the later you're on it, the more that will be influential. But beyond that, it's what you're doing on the screen late at night, whether you are gaming, whether you're watching videos, what have you. You are activating your brain. You're getting your brain active. You're interacting. You're talking to a friend, and all of a sudden they might say something that so and so did this, and your brain begins to go with that. You're doing nothing to try to quiet your brain down to get ready to sleep. You're activating it, and kids are tending to, partly because of where they are biologically, they are more engaged at night. But then when they are getting in front of a screen and the things they do on the screen is not helping them slow their brain down and calm their brain down to get it ready to rest. So they don't sleep as well. They don't sleep as long. They don't sleep as well. So this last area I want to kind of talk about is social regulation and screen time. Again, we've said this in other videos. This video talking a lot about phone use, social media use. It can be laptop use as well. Any sort of that connection. In gaming, all right, for boys, it's more gaming. Girls, it's a little bit more social media. But the rapid pace of these, the rapid kind of going from one thing to another, it's disrupting the prefrontal cortex, the good development of that, which is responsible for emotional regulation. So the more students are on, research is showing, social media in particular, there's some evidence that this is also true with gaming. The more you are on that, the more difficulties you have regulating your emotions, or the more likely you are to have extremes in your emotional reactivity. Right? So screen time, the two major avenues for that kind of make you more reactive. And it shouldn't be that surprising when you think about the nature of those two areas, whether it's gaming or social media. Now, there is a book that I recommend a lot, so I'm going to recommend it to you guys, and that is Glow Kids, How Screen Addiction is Hijacking Our Kids and How to Break the Trance. All right, so this book, Glow Kids, talks a lot about the issues here and some of well, I'm the mindset mentor. I say it over and over. It's helping our kids develop the mindset and some of the beliefs and the importance of things like social connection away from the screens. Sometimes we got, as parents, help them by putting some boundaries there for this, right? We talk in another video about curfews. Well, we might need to have a curfew, not necessarily about staying out late with friends, but about phone usage, particularly weeknights, right? We've got to set up some boundaries and parameters about this screen time usage, computers and phone. And we got to help kids develop the habits around and interest in and beliefs about doing things away from that, and how important and beneficial and how it can really help them feel good. That is really the ultimate solution for us, is to interrupt that pattern. That's what a whole lot of my mindset training is all about: interrupting negative patterns and developing healthier, better ones. Well, we kind of repeated some of the same information we've given in other videos in this one. Really important for particularly parents out there, for you guys to think about. In any teenager watching this, take responsibility. That's where it all begins, and learning to become uncomfortable, right? Some of these changes we're talking about will make things uncomfortable, but you can't grow and become better without becoming uncomfortable. I invite all of you to subscribe to my channel and check out other videos. In particular, you might be interested in the video, How Did COVID Impact Teen Mental Health? So check that out today, and I'll see you in another video.